We just met with Brett King at the Money Conf. How are you, Brett?
I'm well. You?
Very well, thank you. How are you finding the Money Conf so far?
Yeah, it's good from a networking perspective. A lot of my good old mates from the old fintech days, before it was called fintech, are here. So it's always good to catch up with familiar faces.
Yes. You're a futurist from Australia. You are a best-selling author. Tell us, we want to know about the future of banking.
Does banking have a future?
That's it?
Well, not banking as we know it. The big shift really that's occurring here is banking is becoming more and more experiential. So we're taking the utility of banking, things like access to payments, access to a value store where you can safely store your money, and access to credit, and we're surfacing these in real time. So right now that's through your smartphone. As you enter a store, for example, in the next couple of years we'll start to see offers for a credit facility surface on your phone in the store. But in the future that's going to be combined with artificial intelligence in your home with a home pod, or in smart glasses in 10 years where you get that sort of information in your field of view. So we're moving away from bank products like a credit card and a savings account like a fixed deposit, or these sorts of things. And we're moving to the utility of banking in our life when and where we need it.
Do you see banks using blockchain generally over the next years?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, they're going to have to. I think one of the big impacts of these technology shifts we'll move away from banks handling things like identity, and that will sit on the blockchain. And so they'll just connect with that identity layer. For smart assets and smart contract management, that's going to be based on AI and blockchain. And then things like trade finance and cross-border monetary transactions will happen on distributed ledgers as well. So there's a lot of the banking ecosystem we have today that's going to shift to blockchain, because it's more transparent, it's auditable, it's going to be more secure and more robust, and it's built for a real-time IP layer.
What everybody wants to know is, what do you think are going to be the most disruptive technologies or industries over the next years?
So in Augmented Life in the Smart Lane, my last book, I talked about 4 major disruptive forces. And the first is obviously artificial intelligence. And within that, we can talk about robotics, because every robot that has autonomy has some sort of AI capability. In AI, we're right now in the machine learning, machine intelligence phase with AIs that can do specific tasks, but then we have artificial general intelligence and strong AI. The second field is embedded technology experiences, so VR, AR, voice-based UI systems, augmented reality glasses, but basically where technology is embedded everywhere in the world around us and everything sort of is smart and interactive. This changes the way we interact with each other, but definitely the way we interact with service layers and companies and providers of services. The third is health tech and gene editing, the way we look after our healthcare and work with the medical and industry. And then the fourth area is sort of really combining all of these, where you have the emergence of smart cities, smart economies, smart companies, and how we'll differentiate in the future economically based on smart infrastructure, intelligent infrastructure. So things like moving away from fossil fuel generation to distributed grids on renewables, autonomous transportation systems that deliver goods and services, etc. So they're the big 4 disruptive themes, but in parallel you have things like material sciences that are producing nanotech and smart materials. You have 3D printing. There's a whole lot of fields underneath that, urban farming and stuff like that. That's very, very interesting, and some other trends, but they're the big 4.
This is the last day of the Money Conf. What are your plans for today?
I'm heading back to New York, and after this interview, I'm literally getting in a taxi and going to the airport to head back to New York. So I'm speaking at Singularity University's Exponential Finance tomorrow in New York. I'm doing the keynote there, so no rest.
Have a nice flight, and thank you for this interview, Brett.
Thanks, Louis. Thanks for the opportunity.